Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of Pacer Baseball. Today, Pacers take on Chowan. On the mound tonight for USC Aiken, the Pacers will turn to Hunter Hubbard, looking to get the win. He'll be facing off against the top of the order here, Tanner Woods at shortstop, Connor Arcabasco in right field, and Will Gerganis, the second baseman, will bat in the hole. And now Woods is ready for the first pitch of this game. And we're underway. First pitch in there for a call strike. Here's the 0-1. That's a fly ball into deep right field. Going's going back for it. He's going to still go back, and that's going to be off the wall. That'll be for extra bases. And Woods is in with a leadoff double. So Chowan is starting this game off on a positive note as they have Tanner Woods hitting a leadoff double. And that'll bring up Connor Arcabasco, the right fielder. Hubbard deals. That one's going to be hit past the diving Mercado into right field for a base hit. So the first two batters are aboard here in the top of the first inning for the Chowan Hawks. And that'll bring up Will Gerganis, the second baseman. He'll have runners on first and third with nobody down here in the top of the first inning. So Hubbard in a little bit of trouble early here, looking to get himself out of it. And he steps off the rubber and makes a half-hearted fake throw to third base, but nobody covering the bag anyway, so he'll just hold on to it. And the runner goes from first. Throw to second is going to be high and not near the mark. So a stolen base for Arcabasco. We'll put runners on second and third with nobody down. Count is 1-0 to Gerganis. That's going to get by. Showing it catcher and diving in safe at home plate will be Woods. So the Hawks take an early 1-0 lead here as Arcabasco advances to third and Woods advances home on the wild pitch. And we're going to have a quick meeting on the mound, and while they're doing that, we'll have a look at the Pacer infield. Over at first base is Brian Pereira. Second base, Skylar Mercado. At third, Jonathan Banks, and sitting over at shortstop is Tyler Ammerman. Over in left field, we have Chas Powell. Sitting in center field is Mitchell Price. And finally, we have, well, not finally, I should say, next up we have Niles Goings. And finally, behind the plate, we have Max Chowan and Hunter Hubbard on the mound. Two 2-0 is the count to Gerganis, and he'll swing and miss at that one for strike one. The 2-1 pitch, that's going to be fouled off. Swung a little late there. Almost looked like he was expecting a fastball, got an off-speed pitch, and swung at it anyway. And that'll even up the count at 2-2. That pitch is going to be inside, and now the count is full. The 3-2 pitch. Grounded over to Banks at third. He checks the runner. Throws to first in time for the first out of the inning.
Catcher, number 25, Aaron Flanagan.
That'll bring up Aaron Flanagan, the cleanup hitter and catcher for today's game for the Chowan Hawks. He'll have a runner on third base and one man down as his team leads 1-0 in the top of the first inning. That first pitch is low for ball one. Here's the 1-0. That's going to be lined straight at Banks. However, he's playing a little too far off the bag to double up, but in playing too far off the bag, he was right there to catch that for the second out. That brings up the first baseman for the Hawks, Zach Cooper. He comes up with a runner still over on third base, but two men down, looking to bring his man home. And here's the first pitch. That's going to be fouled behind the plate. And Chowan thinking he had a play on it, but it goes out of play for strike one. Hubbard deals the 0-1. That's going to be grounded foul. And the count quickly 0-2. Here's the 0-2 to Cooper. That just misses high for ball one. Now the count's 1-2. And Hubbard deals. That's going to be lined into left field and caught for the final out of the inning. So after working into a little bit of trouble, Hubbard settles down and only gives up one and gets the next three men out. And that'll bring up the USC Aiken Pacers as they trail 1-0. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. We're going into the bottom of the first inning. Pacers trailing 1-0 early on here. Skylar Mercado was going to lead off the bottom half of the first for the Pacers. He's going to be followed by Chaz Powell and Brian Pereira. In the hole today is Zach Moon, followed by the catcher Max Chowan. Mitchell Price is after him in center field, and John Banks follows up Price. Niall Goings afterwards, and then finally we have Tyler Ammerman batting ninth. And Mercado fouls off the first pitch for strike one. On the mound today for the Hawks, we have Will Edwards. And here's the second pitch from Edwards, and Mercado's going to swing and miss at that one for strike two. Behind the plate, we have Aaron Flanagan for the Hawks. Over at first is Zach Cooper is at first. Over at third is the man who I was just about to say, Emery Chop. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Mercado. It's going to miss in the dirt. 4-2. At second base is Will Garganis. And at shortstop, we have Tanner Woods. Here's the 2-2 to Mercado. He's going to foul that one off to keep the count at 2-2. In the outfield for the Hawks, we have Wade Wyatt Jr. in left field. At center field, we're going to have Marvin Harrell Jr., so two juniors out there. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Count now full. Wanted to make sure I got that pitch in before I gave you the last outfielder, Connor Arcabasco. And here's the 3-2 to Mercado. And that's just going to miss inside for ball four. Close pitch there, and Mercado will take the walk down to first.
The left fielder, number 12.
So the leadoff man is aboard for the Pacers. And that'll bring up Chaz Powell. Made the final out in the top half of this inning. And here's the first pitch to Powell. Going to miss high for ball one. Here's the 1-0. That one will miss inside for ball two. The 2-0 to Powell. High for ball three. And Edwards is going to check over on Mercado at first. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And I'm going to say balked on that pitch. So Mercado will advance to second on the balk. And we're still going to wait on the 3-0 pitch now. And here comes the 3-0. That's going to be in there for strike one. And we're going to have a little meeting on the mound as Flanagan wants to go talk to Edwards. So 3-1 is the count to Powell, as he's got Mercado on second. And nobody down. Pacers trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the first inning. Here's the 3-1 pitch. In the dirt for ball four. And Pacers will have runners on second and first with nobody down.
The first baseman, number 32, Brian Pereira.
That'll bring up Brian Pereira, the first baseman for the Pacers. And here's the first pitch to Pereira. He's going to line that straight to first, and they're going to double up Pal, who was a little too far off. Heads up play there. Definitely a heads up play there by Cooper. He caught the line out and doubled up Pal.
The designated hitter number 14, Zach.
That'll bring up the cleanup, Zach Moon. He's got 2 men down after the double play with a runner on second base. Still only trailing by 1 in the bottom of the first inning. That one's just going to miss outside for ball 1. And they're going to go ahead and check on Mercado at second. So here's the 1-0 pitch. High fly ball into left field, drifting into foul territory, and caught for the final out of the inning. So after working into trouble, this time for Chowan, they work themselves out of it, but don't give up a run. And we're going into the top of the second inning. We'll see Wyatt Jr., Josh Martin, and Emery Chop in the top half of the second. Pacers trailing 1-0. And welcome back. We are in the top of the second inning. Pacers trailing 1-0 as Wyatt Jr. steps into the box to face Hunter Hubbard. His first pitch is grounded over to second. Mercado throws to Pereira at first for the first out.
Designated hitter number 22.
And 1 pitch, 1 out will bring up Josh Martin, the DH for today's game. He comes up with nobody on and 1 man down. First pitch is in there for strike 1. The second pitch will also fall in for a strike, making the count quickly 0-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. So a 1 pitch, 1 out, and 3 straight strikes bring us quickly to 2 men down here in the top of second inning.
Third baseman number 31, Emery Chop.
And that'll bring up Emery Chop, the third baseman. who I mistook for the first baseman earlier today. First pitch inside for ball 1. And here's the 1-0. In there for strike 1. Evens up the count at 1-1. And the 1-1 from Hubbard is going to hit chop right in the back. So there'll be a man on first with 2 men down as Marvin Harrell Jr. comes to the plate. First pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Catching the inside corner for a strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 men down, runner on first, and Harrell at the plate. That's going to be grounded to Ammerman at short. Flips to second for the easy out, and the final out. So 1-2 hit by pitch, 3 is the inning, as we're going to see Max Chowan, Mitchell Price, and John Banks up for the Pacers in the bottom of the second inning, as the Pacers trail 1-0. And welcome to the bottom of the second inning. Max Chowan leading off for the Pacers as they trail the Hawks 1-0. And here's the first pitch to Chowan. That'll miss inside for ball 1. And the 1-0, swing and a miss for strike 1. That evens the count up at 1-1. And Edwards deals. Grounded to short. And he's not going to be able to field it properly. So an error there on the shortstop Woods will allow Chowan to reach first, safe and sound. And after the error, we'll see Mitchell Price up with nobody down and a runner on first. And the first pitch to Price, who shows bunt and pulls it back quickly, will be ball 1. And we're going to have a little check on first there. Here's the 1-0. Price bunts it. Beautifully laid down there, and they are going to go for second, and they're going to call him out. So a beautifully executed bunt by Price unfortunately fails as Chowan is thrown out at second.
The third baseman, John Banks.
So John Banks will come up to the plate with a runner still on first, a different runner, and one man down in the bottom of the second inning. And here's the first pitch to Price, and that's going to miss high for ball one. Here's the 1-0. Check swing, but he couldn't hold it back enough, and he went around for a strike. So the count will be evened up at 1-1. And they're going to check on Price once again at first. Price having to duck it out of the way as it looked like the ball was coming for his head, but was saved at the last minute by Cooper at first. So here's the 1-1. Just missing outside for ball two. Here's the 2-1. Grounded right back to the mound. They're going to throw to second for the first and only out of the play. Hard hit ball. Heads up there by Edwards to get the runner at second, but a nice slide by Price broke up the potential double play.
The right fielder, number 34, Niall Goings.
And that'll bring up Niall Goings. He'll have a runner at first with two men down here in the bottom of the second inning as the Pacers trail 1-0. And the first pitch to Goings is going to be high for ball one. And the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Got him chasing one a bit outside there to even up the count at 1-1. And they're going to go ahead and check on the runner at first. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss by Goings, and the count is now 1-2. One ball, two strikes, two outs, runner on first. Pacers trail 1-0, bottom of the second inning. And Goings is going to foul that one off to keep the at-bat going. The 1-2 pitch. Grounded just past the third baseman and into left field for a base hit. And Banks thought about going for third there, but put on the brakes and backtracked back to second.
The shortstop, number 8, Tyler Ammerman.
So the base hit will allow Tyler Ammerman to come up with a runner on first and second and two men down. And we're having a long time for this first pitch. Not exactly sure what they're waiting on here, but looks like we're about to see that pitch now. And that pitch is going to be in there for strike one. So 0-1 the count to Ammerman. And here's that 0-1 pitch. Missing just a bit low for ball one. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's also going to miss the strike zone for ball two. And now the 2-1. That's going to be hitting to center field for a base hit. And they're going to send the runner around third. The throw is coming into home, and it's not going to be fielded. And safe as Banks as Goings advances to third on the throw. So an RBI base hit for Tyler Ammerman will tie up this ball game at 1 apiece. An excellent bit of base running there by the Pacers. Goings and Ammerman saw the ball got away from the catcher and allowed them to move an extra base themselves. So now we see the top of the Pacer order in Skylar Mercado, who was able to walk on his first plate appearance. He's got runners on second and third, and here's his first pitch. That'll miss for ball one. Here's the 1-0. High fly ball into right field. And making the catch for the final out is Arcabasco. But not before the Pacers are able to tie up this ball game once again on the Ammerman RBI base hit. But 2 runners are left stranded. And we're going to see the top of the Hawks order in Tanner Woods, Connor Arcabasco, and Will Gerganis. Pacers tied it up, though. It's 1-1. Welcome back, folks. We're in the top of the third inning here of a tie ball game at 1-1. Tanner Woods to lead off for the Hawks in this top half of the third. He doubled and scored a run back in the first inning on his first at-bat as he leads off this inning with a ball. Here's the 1-0 from Hubbard. That one will come back into the strike zone there. And the count now 1-1. And a little curveball there for strike two. And the count is now 1-2. Not a lot of time in between pitches for Hubbard. And here's the 1-2. Curveball is going to miss this time to even the count up at 2-2. High fly ball into center field. Price chasing it down. He's still chasing it down, and making the catch for the first out.
The right fielder, number 2, Connor Arcabasso.
And that'll bring up Connor Arcabasco. Arcabasco singled in the first inning and had a stolen base. And he'll swing and miss at that first pitch for strike 1. Here's the 1-0. That bounces a good 2 feet in front of home plate for ball 2. I'm sorry, ball 1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curveball finding the strike zone. And the count is now 1-2. The 1-2 pitch right down the middle and got him looking for strike 3. So Arcabasco down on strikes. And Will Gerganis comes to the plate.
Second baseman, number 15, Will Gerganis.
And show a bunt there. And that was bunted foul. And Gerganis just took off running, didn't even care where that ball went. So here's the 0-1 pitch. Almost came in on him and hit Gerganis, but fortunately for both sides, it missed him, but missed the strike zone. And originally called a ball on a check swing, but the appeal goes the Pacer way, and now the count is 1-2. Here's the 1-2. It's going to be grounded. Ammerman charges it. Fires to first for the final out of the inning. So a 1-2-3 inning will bring up Chaz Powell, Brian Pereira, and Zach Moon in the bottom of the third inning, as the score is still tied 1-1. And welcome to the bottom of the third inning. Pacers and Hawks are tied 1-1. And Chaz Powell leads off this bottom of the third inning for the Pacers. Walked in the first. However, he was caught up in a Brian Pereira double play just shortly after. here's the first pitch from Edwards to Pal. That's going to be fouled back and out of play. And the 0-1 pitch. Catching the inside part of the plate for strike 2. Edwards deals, and his pitch is going to be outside for ball 1. And here's the 1-2 pitch. Going to be hit in the air to left field, and that'll be caught for the first out of the inning.
The first baseman, number 32, Brian Pereira.
And Brian Pereira comes up, hit into a double play, his first time up. And he comes to bat here in the 3rd inning with nobody on and 1 man down. And the first pitch to Pereira is going to be high for ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Catching the outside part of the plate for strike 1. And the count will be even at 1-1. And they're going to say he went around on the check swing, and the count now is 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 man down, nobody on. Score is 1-1. And Brian Pereira at the plate. And that pitch is going to be low and inside for ball 2. Here's the 2-2 from Edwards. And that's going to miss, and now the count is full. And the 3-2 pitch. That'll be fouled off, and will have to be redone. And here's that 3-2 again. And they'll miss outside for ball 4. And Pereira will jog on down to first on the walk.
The designated hitter, number 14, Zach Moon.
And Zach Moon now stepping up to the plate for USC Aiken. He has Pereira sitting over on first after the walk. And only 1 man down here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. First pitch to Moon is going to miss for ball 1. And Edwards steps off the mound for a second. And we're going to have another meeting at the mound. Looks like their meeting's over with. And so we'll get back to baseball with Zach Moon facing a 1-0 count. And they're going to check on Pereira at first. Runners at first seem to know when they're going to get checked on Pickoff move isn't looking all that good. That time it was a little less obvious, but Pereira still managed to get back safely. A high fly ball going behind the plate and out of play. And that's going to hit the rooftop. The 1-1 pitch is going to miss high for ball 2. Here's the 2-1. That'll miss outside, and the count is now 3-1. So here comes the 3-1 pitch to Moon. That's going to miss high for ball 4. With a name like Moon, when that kind of thing happens, there's one thing I want to say, but I feel like people are going to hate me if I say it, so I won't say it. Instead, I'll say Moon takes a stroll down to first base, and Max Chowan will step up to the plate now after the meeting at the mound. And it looks like the Hawks are going to have some activity about to start up in their bullpen. A decent crowd here today at Roberto Hernandez Stadium. It started out looking pretty thin, but fans started trickling in as around the second inning, I believe. And it's turned into a pretty respectable crowd for a spring break group. And the meeting at the mound is over. So Max Chowan is the new batter after the walk to Moon. And he has runners on first and second with one down in the bottom of the third inning. And that first pitch misses the strike zone, but Chowan is unable to hold back his swing, so the count will be 0-1. Chowan managed to reach base on an E6 in the second inning, his first time up, as that pitch misses for a ball. Count is even at 1-1 with one man down. The score is even at 1-1 as well. That's going to be grounded into left field for a base hit. They're going to wave, whatever his name is, Pereira. They're going to wave Pereira home. Oh, today is just not my day, folks. But the Pacers are starting to make it their day as they now take a 2-1 lead on the RBI base hit by Max Chowan. And that'll bring up Mitchell Price. Grounded into a fielder's choice his last time up. Part of back-to-back fielder's choices, to be exact. He's got runners on first and second with one man down, as the Pacers now lead 2-1. Want to know the count? Edwards deals. And that's going to miss high for ball 2. Here's the 2-0. In the dirt and outside, and the count is 3-0 now. And the 3-0 pitch. And it's going to be a balk. The second balk of the day for Edwards. I was wondering why Price kind of just gave up as the pitch was being delivered. And now I know. So after the balk, it will be runners on second and third, and a 3-0 count to Price. That pitch is in there for strike one. And the count now 3-1 to Price. Definitely tell it's getting closer to spring. I just saw my first mosquito. And the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss by Price for strike two. Mosquitoes are the little annoyances that spring has to offer. And here's the 3-2 pitch. Fly ball into left field and going foul and out of play. So we'll just redo the 3-2 pitch on that one. So here's the 3-2 once again to Price, and he's going to hit that one into left field, and that is going to be caught for the second out of the inning. But Moon's going to tag from third, and he'll score. So a sac fly for Mitchell Price will increase the Pacer lead 3-1. That brings up John Banks. Another man who grounded into a fielder's choice his last time out there. However, because he got on base, he was able to come around and score a run. He's got a runner on second and two men down, and a 3-1 lead. First pitch is going to miss high for ball one. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Edwards. It'll be a shallow fly ball into right field and going into foul territory. And nobody's going to be able to catch up to it as it lands safely on the ground and bounces into the Hawk bullpen. So the count is 1-1 to Banks. Niall Goings on deck for the Pacers. That one's going to be a high fly ball into center field. Coming on and making the catch is Harrell for the final out. But the Pacers score two here and manage to take the lead, leaving only one man stranded. And we're going to see Flanagan, Cooper, and Wyatt Jr. in this top half of the fourth inning for the Hawks as they look to tie this game back up. And welcome back, folks. Top of the fourth inning is what we're at right now, and 3-1 is our score in favor of the Pacers after the 2-run bottom of the third. Aaron Flanagan is the batter for the Hawks. And here's his first pitch. That's going to be high and inside for ball one. Flanagan just flew out, or I should say lined out, to Banks over at third as he swings and misses at that pitch for strike one. And here's the 1-1. That's going to miss high for ball two. Swing and a miss on an inside pitch there for strike two to even the count up. And the 2-2 from Hubbard. Swing and a miss. Strike three. That's the third strikeout of the day for Hubbard. And Flanagan goes down for the first out.
First baseman number 12, Zach Cooper.
That brings up Zach Cooper, the first baseman for the Hawks. He also flew out his last time up. He comes up with nobody on and one man down. And the first pitch from Hubbard. And he's going to ground that to Mercado at second. And the easy throw to first for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Wyatt, or Wyatt Jr., I'm not sure which he prefers. But Wyatt grounded out back in the second inning in his first at-bat, and he'll take a first pitch for ball one. And the 1-0, swing and a miss to even the count up at 1-1. One 1 from Hubbard. It's going to be fouled off, and the count's now going to be 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch. Curveball's going to miss. And the count's going to be evened up once again at 2-2. It's going to be grounded to Banks at third. Rocket over to first is going to draw Pereira off the bag. And so Wyatt's going to be safe. We'll see how they score this. And they're going to score it as a hit.
Hitter number 22, Josh Martin.
That was a tough play. Took a high bounce there, so Banks had to really hurry up with the throw and wouldn't necessarily have made it in time. So a runner on first after the base hit. And Hubbard, another half-hearted attempt at getting the runner. That's one of those, if you get caught on that one, you just need to walk back to the dugout with your head down. First pitch is going to be in there as the new batter, Josh Martin, DH swings and misses for a strike. And the 0-1 pitch. Couldn't check his swing. Chowan lost sight of where the ball went. It was sitting right underneath him. Everybody knew it but him. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 men out, 1 man on. And Josh Martin up at the plate. Struck out back in the second, one of Hubbard's 3 strikeouts today. And another, can we call that a pickoff attempt? Here's the 0-2. Grounded to Banks at third. He's going to throw over to first, and that's going to hit the runner and get past Pereira. So everybody's going to be safe, and everybody's going to advance an extra base. So a bad throw there by Banks allows everyone to be safe and this inning to continue. That'll bring up Emery Chop, hit by a pitch on his first time up. He now comes up with runners on second and third, and 2 men down. So Hubbard's going to try to work out of this jam. This minor jam, I guess we can call it. And he's going to say the batter swung around. So the count is 0-1. And the 0-1 count. It's going to be in the dirt. And the count's going to be even at 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch from Hubbard. And I'm going to say he went around on that one too, and the count is now 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Right there for strike 3. And Hubbard does work out of this one as he strikes out Chop looking. And does not give up a run. Does give up 1 hit though, and 2 men left on. As we go into the bottom of the 4th inning, Pacers leading 3-1. Welcome to the bottom of the 4th inning. Niall Goings looking to bring us into this half of the inning. Singled back in the 2nd on his first at-bat. And he steps to the plate as the Pacers lead 3-1. And here's the first pitch to Goings. He's going to swing and miss at it. And the count is 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Hitting the air into center field. Going back and making the catch is Harrell Jr. for the first out.
Shortstop number 8, Tyler Emmerman.
The new batter is Tyler Emmerman, singled as well in the second inning. In fact, it was Ammerman's single that tied up the ball game for the Pacers back in the second inning. And here's the first pitch to him. It's going to miss for ball one. Here's the 1-0. It's going to be hit just foul down the third base line. Hard hit ball there. However, the curve on it put it into foul territory. So instead of a base hit, we're going to have a 1-1 count. A 1-1 to Ammerman. That'll miss for ball two. And the 2-1 pitch lined into left field for a base hit. So Ammerman has his second hit of the night. And that'll bring up Skylar Mercado with a runner on first and one out. One thing I forgot to mention, there is a new pitcher on the mound for the Hawks. Matt Kaplan takes over for Will Edwards after 3 innings. And now he faces Skylar Mercado, who's walked and flown out today. And the first pitch to him is going to be a ball. And they're going to go ahead and check on Ammerman at first. And the 1-0 pitch. That'll miss inside and count now 2-0. So 2 balls, no strikes, 1 man out and 1 man on. 3-1 the score in the bottom of the fourth. And Ammerman takes off. They checked over at first, threw it in there, and they got him out at second. So Ammerman caught stealing for the second out of the inning. So edit that last statement. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. But the score remains 3-1. So here's the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss by Mercado. And the count now 2-1. It's going to be grounded foul. And the count even up at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch. Curveball's going to find the strike zone on its way down. And that'll be it for the inning. And Mercado as he goes down on strikes. So Pacers are going to keep their 3-1 lead as we go into the top of the 5th inning with Harrell, Woods, and Arcabasco coming up for the Hawks. We'll be right back. And we're in the top of the 5th inning. Marvin Harold will lead off for the Hawks. He comes up with his team facing a 3-1 deficit. And a new pitcher in the Pacers. Connor Riley takes over for Hunter Hubbard after 4 innings. Hubbard had a decent outing. And second pitch is going to miss for a ball, so the count quickly 2-0. Hubbard's outing was 4 innings and 4 strikeouts with only 1 run and 3 hits. That pitch is in there for a strike, and the count now 2-1. And the count is now even on that pitch at 2-2. And the 2-2 pitch going to be fouled off and will have to be redone. Swing and a miss. Got him chasing one on the outside there for the first out and the first strikeout of the night for Riley.
The shortstop, Tanner Woods.
That brings us to the top of the order here in Tanner Woods. 1 for 2 today with a double and a run scored. And here's the first pitch from Riley. It's in there. Swing and a miss for strike 1. And the second pitch is in there for strike 2. So 0-2 is quickly the count on Woods. And now the count 1-2 as that pitch misses. And that one's going to be grounded slowly towards the short, but Banks comes over to get it. Throw to first is in time for the second out. Excellent job there by Banks to get that ball, and an excellent job by Pereira to scoop it. So there are 2 men down, and Connor Arcabasco steps up to the plate. He's also 1 for 2 with a base hit and a stolen base on the night. Swing and a miss on that first pitch there for strike 1. Thought about going for that one, but laid off, and the count now 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Riley. That's going to be in there for strike 2, and the count is now 1-2. And Riley trying to get him to chase one outside there like he did with the last one. Yeah, I mean, his first strikeout, not the last batter. However, Arcabasco didn't go for it, and the count's going to be even at 2-2. And that curveball finds the strike zone, and he will go down looking. So Arcabasco manages a 1-2-3 inning here with 2 strikeouts and keeps the Pacer lead at 3-1 as we go into the bottom of the 5th inning. Chaz Powell, Brian Pereira, and Zach Moon all due up for the Pacers. And we are in the bottom of the 5th inning. Pacers leading 3-1, and Chaz Powell coming up looking to extend that lead. Powell has walked and flown out today, and this is his 3rd plate appearance of the night. And he's going to watch that one go by for strike 1. And that one's going to miss high. Curveball that didn't curve down nearly enough. And the count is now 1-1. That one just missing outside. And the count is 2-1. The 2-1 to Powell. That'll be low, and the count is 3-1. The 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Powell, and the count is now full. The first time Powell moved during this at-bat. He's just pretty much been standing there. Nice to see he's awake. And here comes the 3-2. That'll be outside for ball 4, and Powell makes his way down to first on the walk. Second walk of the day for Powell. And now Brian Pereira steps up to the plate for the Pacers. He's got one man on and nobody down. Pereira has walked today. And on that walk, he scored a run. That's going to be grounded into right field for a base hit. So Pereira swinging on the first pitch and gets a base hit out of it. And that'll put runners on first and second for Zach Moon. Zach Moon's at-bats looking almost identical to Pereira's. He flew out in the first, same as Pereira, and he walked in the third, same as Pereira, and scored a run, same as Pereira. So will he follow in Pereira's footsteps here, or will he carve a path of his own? He's got runners on second and first with nobody down. And the first pitch is going to miss inside, not miss inside, get in there inside for strike 1. And Kaplan steps off the mound, sending the runners back in no real hurry to their bags. And once again, we'll send the runners back to their bags as Moon is sitting on an 0-1 count, just waiting for the next pitch. Now here's the 0-1 pitch. That's a fly ball into foul territory down the first base side, and it's going to get out of play. It'll bounce into the stands, too. Oh, the count is 0-2 to Moon. And the 0-2 pitch. Curveball's going to miss for ball 1. So no, 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, and 2 men on for Moon. And he's going to hit one into right field deep. That's going back, and it's going to be gone. A home run for Zach Moon. A 3-run home run for Zach Moon, I should say. And he doubles the Pacers' score today as they now lead 6-1.
The catcher, number 6, Max Chowan.
That was almost a laser out there. Not a lot of air time, but it went out of here in a hurry. I'll say this, Arcabasco had me fooled. He was tracking it down like he had it, but unfortunately for him, it got out of here fast. So after the home run, we see Max Chowan, who swings and misses at the first pitch. Chowan's reached on an error, singled. And that's it for today. Well, I was saying Moon was following in the footsteps of Pereira as this pitch is coming in and missing the strike zone for a ball. But Moon following in the footsteps of Pereira, not anymore. A 3-run home run will put him on his own path. And the 1-1 to Chowan's going to miss and make the count 2-1. And the 2-1. That's going to be grounded into center field for a base hit. So that's Chowan's second hit. And that's going to bring up Mitchell Price, who grounded into a fielder's choice and has a sac fly tonight. And right now he's got a runner on first and nobody out as the Pacers lead 6-1. And we're going to have a little meeting on the mound here. And it's going to look like not sure what they're doing right now. Well, while they're talking, we'll just let them talk and never mind, I was going to say we'll go to a break, but they're done. It almost looked like they were going to be calling to their bullpen. We saw the pitcher warming up out there. He was coming out, but they're sending him back to the bullpen, and they're going to leave. They're going to leave Kaplan on the mound. And the first pitch there is in for a strike to Mitchell Price. And the 0-1. That curveball comes into the strike zone for strike 2. And the count quickly 0-2. And another curveball in there for strike 3. So 1, 2, 3, and Price goes down looking on strikes.
The third baseman, John Banks.
That brings up John Banks. Grounded into a fielder's choice, scored a run, and has flown out today. He has a runner on first and one man down. First pitch is going to miss outside for ball 1. Banks almost had a costly error earlier in the game, as that pitch misses for ball 2. However, the defense was able to come to his aid and keep the runs from scoring and get out of the inning. The 2-0 pitch will miss outside for ball 3. So 3 balls, no strikes, 1 man out, 1 man on. Pacers leading 6-1. And that pitch is in there for a strike. And we are in the bottom of the 5th inning. And the 3-1 pitch hit in the air into shallow right center field. That's going to be caught. It's not going to be caught. And it will not be an out. And everybody's going to be safe. So Banks reaches on the error. And now there'll be runners on first and second for Niall Goings. Goings is singled and has flown out today. And here's the first pitch to him. And he's going to be way ahead of that pitch for strike one. And here's the 0-1 pitch. Going to be outside for a ball, and they're going to throw out to second there. And the ball's going to get away from the fielders. And hustling all the way to third is going to be Chowan. Looked like that ball actually hit Chowan when it was thrown to second. And in hitting Chowan, it got away from all the infield and allowed him to move to third. Anyway, what's going on at the plate, it's a 1-1 count. 2 Goings. And it's going to now be a 2-1 count as that pitch missed. And the 2-1. Swing and a miss for strike 2. Count even up at 2-2. And that pitch is going to miss just barely, and that'll make the count full. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, runner on first and third. Niall Goings at the plate. Pacers leading 6-1, bottom of the 5th inning. And that's ball 4, and that's going to get away all the way to the backstop. But it bounces back enough that Flanagan is able to grab it and hold the runner at third.
The shortstop, Tyler Ammerman.
That'll bring up Tyler Ammerman. 2 singles today, one of which was an RBI single. So we're going to have another meeting on the mound. Pacers have bases loaded here in the bottom of the 5th inning and a 6-1 lead. And the Hawks are going to go to their bullpen, and we are going to be right back as we give them a chance to warm up their new pitcher. And welcome back, folks. The Hawks go to their bullpen and take out Bailey Lipscomb. He comes into this game with only one man out and the bases loaded. Certainly not a situation you want to find yourself in, but he'll be looking to get out of this with as little or no damage as possible. And his first pitch is going to be in there for a strike. So 0-1 is the count, and it's going to stay there for a little bit as we're going to have another little chat on the mound. And here's the 0-1 pitch. It's going to miss outside for ball one. And that pitch is going to miss for ball two. So 2-1 is the count to Ammerman, as he has a golden opportunity to break this game wide open with the bases loaded here and only one man down. That pitch just missing outside for ball three, and the margin of error has disappeared for Lipscomb. And the 3-1 pitch, and that one's just going to miss for ball four, and that'll walk in a run to make the score 7-1. And the bases will remain loaded for Skylar Mercado in the top of the Pacer order.
The second baseman, Skylar Mercado.
Mercado 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout. And the first pitch to him is going to be outside for a ball. And the count right away is 1-0. The 1-0 pitch, that's going to be outside, and a nice job there by Flanagan to keep that one from going past him and possibly saving a run. But the count is 2-0. And the 2-0 pitch, and that one's going to miss high for ball three. Dangerous territory here. 3 balls, no strikes, and bases loaded. He's already walked in 1 run. And he's going to try to keep himself from doing that again. And that's exactly what he does, though, as he walks Mercado on 4 straight pitches to walk in another Pacer run. And all of the Pacers have come to the plate this inning as we see Chaz Powell, who was the leadoff man for this part of the inning. He would walk and score on the Zach Moon home run, and the bases are still loaded for him with only one man down. That pitch misses for a ball. I believe that is the 5th or 6th straight ball that Lipscomb has thrown. The 1-0 pitch is going to be low for ball two. So 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Man on first, second, and third. And Powell at the plate as that pitch misses for ball three. So once again, a 3-0 count to the second batter in a row. And the pitch. That one's going to catch a corner there for strike one, making the count 3-1. The 3-1 pitch is a swing and a miss by Pal on a high fastball, and the count's going to be full. And the 3-2 pitch. That's going to be fouled off and out of play. So we'll just redo the 3-2. And once again, the 3-2 pitch. And that's going to be in there for strike 3. Pal down looking. So Pal down on strikes 4, the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Brian Pereira, who singled and scored on that Zach Moon home run. He comes up with the bases loaded and 2 men down in the bottom of the 5th inning, with the Pacers leading 8-1. And he's going to ground the first pitch foul for strike 1. Looking like Lipscomb has settled down a little bit. He's finding the strike zone a little bit more often. Getting the Pacers to swing at least, if nothing else. And here's the 0-1 pitch. That one's going to be in there for a strike. Catching the lower part of the strike zone there. And the count quickly 0-2. And that one's right down the middle there. Pereira just stood there like a statue and took it. So after giving up 2 walk-in runs, he manages to strike out both Chaz Pal and Brian Pereira to get out of the inning, but not before the Pacers score 5 runs in this half of the inning alone to extend their lead 8-1 as we go into the top of the 6th by that score. And we are going into the top of the 6th inning. Pacers leading the Hawks 8-1. And we'll see Will Gerganis leading off for Chowan. And here's the first pitch to him. He's going to foul it back for strike 1. Riley's still on the mound for the Pacers. Definitely proven himself effective in relief for this team, able to go multiple innings. And the 0-1 pitch, that one's going to miss inside for ball 1 to even up the count at 1-1. Gerganis is grounded out in both plate appearances today, making him 0 for 2 as that one misses for ball 2. And the 2-1 from Riley. It's going to be grounded to Pereira at first. And he's going to flip to Riley for the first out of the inning. Well, Pereira looked a little confused there. Thought the ball was going to bounce higher on him, and he had to quickly react as it was a low bounce. But he was able to make the play and get the out. And that's all that really matters. So Aaron Flanagan, the catcher, is now up at the plate. And the first pitch is going to Be a curveball that's going to miss, bounce out of the glove of Chowan and bounce off the head of Flanagan. So 1-0 is the count after the interesting pitch. That one's a little more normal as it misses for ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him going for a fastball there. 2-1 the count now. That one's going to be fouled off to even the count up at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, nobody on, as the Pacers lead the Hawks 8-1, top of the 6th inning. And call time here by Flanagan. Make us wait a little bit longer for that 2-2. And the 2-2 is going to be outside and in the dirt to make the count full. Pacers got their bullpen going once again. And here's the 3-2 pitch. That one just catches the outside corner there. And Flanagan down looking.
The first baseman, number 12, Zach Cooper.
So with that, we'll see Zach Cooper, the first baseman, 0 for 2 today with a fly out and a ground out. He comes up with 2 men down and nobody on. That pitch is going to miss for ball 1. Swing and a miss on that one. Count even at 1-1. I was going to say is actually he foul tipped that one. Regardless, count is still going to be 1-1. That pitch is in there for strike 2, and the count now 1-2. And that's grounded over to Mercado at second. He'll throw to first for the final out. So another 1-2-3 inning for the Pacers as they hold their lead of 8-1 going into the bottom of the 6th inning. Due up, Zach Moon, who had a 3-run home run to start off a major rally in the 5th, Max Chowan, and then Mitchell Price in the hole. We'll be right back. And we are in the bottom of the 6th inning. Pacers leading 8-1, and Zach Moon coming to the plate. 1 for 2 today with a walk, a run scored, and then a 3-run home run his last time up in the 5th inning to start off a major offensive explosion for the Pacers. That first pitch is going to miss inside for ball 1. Lipscomb still on the mound for the Hawks. A little shaky when he first came out there, but he settled right down and got back-to-back strikeouts to get out of the inning. As that pitch misses inside, almost the same exact spot for ball 2. Swing and a miss by Moon. Trying to send another one over the fence there with that swing. And with that, the count will be 2-1. And Moon's going to hit a liner into left field for a base hit. And that's all he's going to get. As Wyatt hustled over there and managed to reach out and catch the ball on a hop. Keep it from going past him and into the corner. But regardless, a leadoff base hit for Zach Moon will bring up Max Chowan, who singled and scored back in the 5th. He's also 2 for 3 today with another single and reaching on an error. And the first pitch to Chowan is going to catch the inside part of the plate for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch is going to miss low for ball 1 to even up the count. And the 1-1, swing and a miss on a pitch that was out of the strike zone, a bit high there. And the count now 1-2. And Chowan's going to line it over the shortstop's head and into left field for another base hit. And Chowan's going to stretch this one into a double, and Moon's going to make his way all the way to third. So a nice bit of running there as they saw Wyatt having a little bit of trouble fielding that ball as it bounced around by his feet. So a double for Chowan. We'll put runners on second and third, and Mitchell Price coming up. Price has grounded into a fielder's choice and struck out today, but does have a sac fly, so a little bit of offensive production for him. And here's his first pitch. He's going to hit that one foul. And the count quickly 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch. That one's just going to miss a little high and outside to even the count up at 1-1. And Price is going to just catch a little bit of a piece of that. And the count is 1-2. The 1-2 to Price. That's going to be grounded down the third base line and foul. So with the foul ball, the count will stay at 1-2. And we'll just redo the pitch. That one comes for Price's head there, who manages to bend out of the way to even the count up at 2-2. And here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss by Price for the first out of the inning. A little delayed call there, but quite obviously went around. Just did he get a piece of it or not? So that'll bring up John Banks. He would reach on an error in the 5th inning. Grounded into a fielder's choice as well. Scored a run. And has flown out. First pitch to him is in the dirt for ball 1. He's got the bases loaded. I'm sorry, not bases loaded. He's only got runners on second and third. Nobody on first. And the count is 1-0 to Banks. Swing and just catching a little bit of it there, so not really a swing and a miss. Evens up the count at 1-1. In the dirt and outside once again. Nice job once again by Flanagan to keep that one from getting past him and saving a run. So Banks about ready to step back in to await the 2-1 pitch. That one's going to miss outside for ball 3, and the count now 3-1. And Banks gets that and fouls it straight into the ground and along the third base line. So the count is now 3-2 on that foul ball. And here's the 3-2 pitch. That's going to be high for ball 4, and now the bases are loaded as Banks takes first, bringing up Niall Goings. An RBI, no, not an RBI single, a single, a walk, and a flyout. What he's done tonight is he comes up with bases loaded and only one man down. In the bottom of the 6th inning of an 8-1 ball game. First pitch is going to miss high and inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch hit high in the air into shallow right field. And caught for the second out. Goings upset with himself.
The shortstop, Tyler Emmerman.
But Tyler Emmerman's going to come up and try to make up for the pop out by Goings. Emmerman has an RBI single, and just a regular single, and a walk today. He comes up, bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch is going to miss for ball 1. And the 1-0 pitch, that'll miss outside for ball 2. And the 2-0. Catching the upper part of the strike zone there to make the count 2-1. That pitch missing outside and low to make the count 3-1. And again, the margin of error has disappeared with the bases loaded and 3 balls. And Lipscomb's going to take a moment here, collect himself, and sets to deal the 3-1 pitch. High and inside for ball 4, and that'll walk in another run, the 3rd run he's walked in today. And increases the Pacer lead to 9-1. And we're bringing up the top of the order once again.
Second baseman, Skyler Mercado.
In Skyler Mercado. Mercado has walked twice today. Also has a strikeout and a flyout. And the first pitch to Mercado is going to be in there for strike 1. 2 men down, bases loaded. 9-1 the score. Bottom of the 6th inning. And second pitch is going to miss high for ball 1 to even up the count. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, Mercado thought about going for it, but laid off. And the count now 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is going to be fouled off to even the count up at 2-2. Here's the 2-2 to Mercado. He's going to ground that one to third. Going to bobble the ball a little bit and dives for the third base, and he's not going to get there in time as Banks is able to slide in just safe. That's going to score a run, and we're going to see how they score that at bat. They're going to score that an error. So an error for Chop will score one more run for the Pacers to make their lead 10-1. And that'll bring up Chaz Powell. That pitch is going to be outside for ball one. Good hustle there by Banks. Had that ball not been bobbled, probably would have been out. Any one of them would have been out as that one's hit in the air. Foul territory. And out of play. So 1-1 now the count. So here comes the 1-1 pitch to Powell. That's going to be high for a ball. Powell's walked twice and scored a run today. Also has a strikeout. Faces a 2-1 count with two men down and bases loaded. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning. That pitch is going to miss outside for ball three. And here's the 3-1 pitch. That'll be fouled off and out of play. And the count is full once again. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. Pacers up 10-1. Chaz Powell at the plate. Bottom of the sixth inning is where we're at. That's going to be hit into the air into deep left field. It's going back. It's going back. That's going to be off the wall. That's going to score 2. They're waving one more in. That's going to be a 3-run double for Chaz Powell. Almost was a grand slam. Missed it by maybe 2 feet. But he still gets 3 RBIs out of the deal, and a 13-1 lead is what we've got in the bottom of the sixth inning. And the Hawks are going to make another call to their bullpen here, and we're going to give him some time to warm up. We'll be right back. Pacers up 13-1. And the Hawks have made another call to the bullpen. They're going to pull out Jake Moore. Moore comes in with 2 men down and bases loaded here in relief of Lipscomb, who lasted 1 inning and managed 3 strikeouts. And Moore's first opponent is going to be Brian Pereira. Pereira has singled today, scored 2 runs, and struck out. Here's the first pitch to Pereira. That's going to miss outside for ball 1. And Pereira will foul that one off to even up the count at 1-1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Runner on second. That runner is Chaz Powell, who had a 3 RBI double just moments ago to put us at the score we're at now at 13-1. And Pereira's going to hit one into right field for a base hit. So that'll advance Powell over to third on the single by Pereira. And it'll bring up Zach Moon, who started off this inning with a base hit. Also to Zach Moon's credit is a walk and a run scored. In fact, he scored 2 runs if you don't count his 3-run home run in the 5th inning. He comes up with runners on the corners and 2 men down. That pitch is going to miss high and inside for ball 1. And once again, we're going to have a little meeting on the mound. Just a short little chat there. So 1-0 the count to Moon. And the count now 2-0 as that curveball is going to miss outside. And the count going to now be 3-0 on that pitch. And here's the 3-0 from Moore. That's going to miss high for ball 4. Walking Moon on 4 straight pitches. And that's Moon's 2nd walk today.
The catcher, Max Chowan.
Max Chowan coming up. 2 singles, a double, reaching on an error, and scoring 2 runs is the night that he's had tonight. He steps up with bases loaded and 2 men down in a 13-1 ball game. That pitch is going to catch the inside part of the plate for strike 1. The 0-1 pitch, grounded to first, and he'll take it himself for the final out of the inning, but the Pacers score 5 more runs to make their lead 13-1 as we go into the 7th inning by that score, and the Hawks have quite a bit of ground to catch up on. We'll be right back. And we are in the top of the 7th inning now of a 13-1 ball game in favor of the USC Aiken Pacers. Leading off for the Hawks is Wade Wyatt. 1 for 2 today with a single and a ground out. And his first pitch is going to be fouled off for strike 1. The new pitcher for the Pacers is Bryce Buster. A couple other defensive changes. In at first base is Bryce Buster in replacement of Brian Pereira as the 0-1 pitch about to be delivered. That one takes off the new catcher's glove, Charlie Padilla, in for Max Chowan. And Joey Smithers is now out there at second base in place of Mercado, as the count is 1-1 to Wade Wyatt. Got now 1-2 after he fouls off that pitch. So here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Ball gets away from Padilla. Launches it down to first. Scoop is in time for the out. So a strikeout throw him out. A very close throw him out for the first out of the inning. So a little bit of a test there for Buster. And he passes with flying colors. As the DH, Josh Martin, comes up now. Reached on an error and has struck out today as he grounds the first pitch foul. Almost fielded there by Hubbard, who standing outside of the dugout. And the 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 2. And the 0-2 pitch is going to be a fly ball into shallow right field. Now dropping for a base hit. So there's going to be a man on first with only one down here as Emery Chop steps up to the plate. Only the 4th hit of the night for the Chowan Hawks, as they look to get a little something off going here offensively with only one man down and a man on first. And that pitch is going to miss high for ball 1. And Buster deals the 1-0 pitch. That catches the inside part of the plate for a strike. So 1-1 the count to Chop, as that one's going to miss low and outside for ball 2. And the 2-1 pitch. That one's going to catch the inside part of the plate. And that'll even the count up at 2-2. And that pitch is going to be in the dirt. And the count is full. And the 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3.
Center fielder, Marvin Harrell.
That'll bring up Marvin Harrell. Struck out and grounded into a fielder's choice earlier. Show a bunt there, but he pulled it back in time for a ball. Both outs in this inning have been strikeouts for Buster. And the 1-0 pitch, high and inside for ball 2. And the 2-0 pitch is going to be hit in the air in foul territory. Padilla chases after it, but it's going to go out of play. And the count now 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 men down, 1 man on. 13-1 the score, as that one's hit in the air. Staying in the infield and coming on to get it is the new first baseman.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 7th inning stretch time at Roberto Hernandez Stadium, where we join baseball immortal Harry Carey will take me out.
So we're going into the 7th inning stretch now. Pacers leading 13-1. And due up for the Pacers, Mitchell Price, John Banks, and Niall Goings. We'll be right back. Hope you enjoyed your 7th inning stretch. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning now. Pacers leading 13-1. And Mitchell Price coming up to lead off the inning. Grounded into a fielder's choice, a sac fly, and 2 strikeouts on the night. And the first pitch to him is going to miss for a ball. So the 1-0 pitch going to be fouled back. And the count now even at 1-1. And with that pitch, we're now at a 2-1 count. And that's going to be grounded into left field for a base hit. So that's Price's first hit of the night.
Third baseman, John Banks.
And with the leadoff base hit, we'll see John Banks. He has 2 runs scored today. He comes up with nobody out and a man on first. That pitch is going to miss inside and high for ball 1. And they're going to check on Price over at first. Almost looked like a move by the starting pitcher of today's game for the Pacers, Hunter Hubbard. A half-hearted throw. Just trying to keep him a bit closer there. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's going to miss outside for ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch to John Banks. And that'll miss in the dirt as well. And the count now 3-0. It peeled to the field up there to see if he swung or not. But Banks was able to keep his bat in check. And the 3-0 pitch. And Banks is going to walk there on 4 straight pitches to put runners on first and second.
The right fielder, Niall Goings.
That'll bring up Niall Goings. 1 for 3 today with a walk and a single. He has runners on first and second with nobody out. The first pitch to Goings is going to miss for ball 1. As things stand right now, the Pacers have 13 runs on 12 hits and 1 error. And the Hawks have 1 run on 4 hits and 4 errors. And here's the 1-0 pitch. That's going to be in there, catching the lower part of the strike zone for strike 1. Count even at 1-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one's going to be in there for strike 2. Price is on second. Banks is on first. And Goings is at the plate with a 1-2 count. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase one outside there for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Tyler Ammerman. 2 for 2 today with 2 base hits and an RBI. Also has a run scored. He comes up with 2 men on and 1 man down here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And we'll have a break here as Moore steps off the rubber. And the first pitch to Ammerman's going to miss low for ball 1. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That's going to get away from the catcher, and all the runners are going to move up 1 base. And the count is 2-0 to Ammerman. So Price will move over to third. Banks moves over to second on the pass ball. And now Ammerman has 2 runners in scoring position with only 1 out. And he's going to foul off that pitch straight back into the mesh to make the count 2-1. Now the 2-1 pitch. That's going to be inside for ball 3. Three balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and 2 men on. 13-1 the score in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 3-1 pitch to Ammerman is going to be fouled off. And the count is now going to be full. And the 3-2 pitch is going to be a fly ball into center field. That'll be caught. Price tags at third. And he will score on the sac fly by Ammerman. And the Pacers now lead 14-1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning with a runner on second and 2 down. And the new second baseman, Joey Smithers, comes in for Skyler Mercado. And he's going to hit one into the gap in left center field. And that's going to be caught for the final out. A nice hustle there by Wyatt to end the inning. But not before the Pacers managed to get one run there on the sac fly by Ammerman. They'll leave one man on, though, as we go into the top of the 8th with Harrell, Woods, and Arcabasco due up for the Hawks. Pacers lead 14-1. And the top of the 8th inning is where we're at. 14-1 is the score in favor of the Pacers. And top of the order for the Hawks, Tanner Woods comes up. And he's going to ground that one foul straight into the Pacer dugout there as Pacers dive out of the way to avoid getting hit by that. New pitcher on the mound for the Pacers. Connor Norton takes the place of Bryce Buster, who went 1 inning with 2 strikeouts, as that pitch misses high for ball 1. So 1-1's the count. Also a new third baseman, David Langster, takes over for John Banks over there in third. And now 2-1 is the count as Norton's pitch misses. And that pitch is going to miss a little bit high. And now 3-1 is the count. The 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 2. And the 3-2 pitch, that's going to fall into the strike zone. And Woods down looking.
Right fielder, Connor Arcabasso.
That'll bring up Connor Arcabasco, the right fielder. He's 1 for 3 today with a single, stolen base, and 2 strikeouts. He comes up trailing 14-1 with 1 man down. And the first pitch to him is going to be outside for a ball. And here's the 1-0. And that one's going to miss just low. 2-1 the count. And that one's low, and 3-0 is the count. There's the 3-0 pitch. That one's going to fall into the strike zone, and 3-1 the count. The 3-1 pitch, that's going to be grounded slowly towards the new third baseman, David Langster. And he's going to reach safely. So an infield hit for Connor Arcabasco.
The second baseman.
And Connor Norton, the pitcher, is going to hope that doesn't come back to bite him. And after the infield hit, Will Gerganis is going to come up 0 for 3 today. He's got a man on first and 2 down. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Second pitch is going to miss outside for ball 1 to even the count up. One ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 man on. As that pitch misses. Padilla trying to frame that one, but he's not going to get the call. And 3-1 is now the count as that pitch misses. And the pitch grounded down the third base line and foul. So with the foul ball, the count is now going to be full. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. 14-1 the score in the top of the 8th inning. And that pitch is going to be fouled off, and we'll redo the 3-2 pitch. Norton deals. That's going to be hit into center field for a base hit. And the Hawks trying to get something going here as they've had back-to-back singles to put runners on first and second for the catcher, Aaron Flanagan.
The catcher, Aaron Flanagan.
So here's the first pitch to Flanagan. That's going to be high for ball 1. And the 1-0. High fly ball into right field. Goings calls off everybody else and makes the catch right along the infield there. Goings had to make a long trip in. But the catch signals the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Zach Cooper. And in case you missed it, Connor Arcabosco made it to first base on an infield hit, a well-placed infield hit, and Will Gerganis had a line drive single into center field to put him on first base, which puts us where we're at now with runners on first and second, and Zach Cooper at the plate with 2 outs. That pitch is going to miss outside to even the count up at 1-1. And that pitch is going to be fouled back for strike 2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Runners are going. The throw to second is in time for the final out of the inning. So an attempted double steal there ends in an out, and the end of the inning, as Gerganis is caught stealing to put us into the bottom of the 8th inning. Pacers leading 14-1. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning now. Pacers leading 14-1, and Luke Westerberg steps up to the plate for the Pacers. And the first pitch is going to hit him, and he'll take his base. The new pitcher for the Hawks is Will Gerganis, who until recently was over at second base. Preston Dawson now coming up to the plate. He's got a runner on first and nobody out. Swing and a miss on that first pitch for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch is in there for strike 2. And the 0-2 pitch. That's going to be outside for ball 1. And that one's going to nail Dawson there right in the back. You can hear the thud over here. So back-to-back batters have been hit by a pitch.
Now batting, number 10, Doug Ard.
And that'll bring up Doug Ard, who's hitting in place of Zach Moon. He comes up with 2 men on and nobody out. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. And he'll hit one into right field down the line, and that's going to be foul. So 0-1 the count. And the 0-1 pitch is going to be hit into left field and caught for the first out of the inning.
The catcher, Charlie Padilla.
That'll bring up Charlie Padilla. Padilla in for Max Chowan. Padilla comes in with runners on first and second, and 1 man down. First pitch in there for a strike. And the 0-1 pitch is going to be hit into left field for a base hit. And on the single, that is going to load up the bases. That'll bring up J.T. Arneman. Arneman in for Mitchell Price. He comes in, bases loaded, only 1 man down. Pacers leading 14-1, bottom of the 8th inning. And the first pitch to Arneman is going to miss outside for a ball. Swinging a foul tip there for strike 1 to even the count up at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch is going to miss outside for ball 2. Here's the 2-1. That's going to miss. And the count is now 3-1. The 3-1 pitch, that'll miss outside, and another Pacer will walk to home plate. And the Pacer lead now 15-1.
The third baseman, Dave Langster.
That'll bring up David Langster. Langster in for John Banks. And the first pitch to him is going to be high for ball 1. He comes up, bases still loaded, and only 1 man down. Bottom of the 8th inning of a 15-1 game. That pitch is going to miss as well, and the count quickly 2-0. That's going to be hit into foul territory along the first base line, and they're going to misread it as it drops into the foul area field of play. So the count is now 2-1 instead of an out. That'll give Lancaster another crack at it with the bases loaded. And that pitch is going to miss, and the count is now 3-1. That's going to be lined into left field and drop in for a base hit. And that's going to score 1 run, and the bases will remain loaded. So the Pacer lead now is 16-1 on David Lancaster's RBI base hit. And that'll bring up Niall Goings. First time we have not had a pinch hitter. He's one of the starters of today's game, as he takes that pitch for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch is going to be fouled off for strike 2. Goings is 1 for 4 today with a base hit, 2 flyouts, a strikeout, and a walk. And he's going to ground that one into left field for another base hit. So another Pacer run scores, and their lead is increased to 17-1.
The shortstop, Tyler Ammerman.
And that'll bring up Tyler Ammerman, another starter in today's game. He comes up with the bases still loaded and only 1 man down. First pitch is going to miss for ball 1. And the 1-0 hit high into the air into foul territory and out of play. So with that, the count is even at 1-1. The 1-1 pitch going to be in there for a strike. So the count now 1-2. That one outside. It's going to be another nice effort there by Flanagan to keep that ball from getting past him and possibly saving a run. So the count 2-2. That one's going to miss for ball 3. The count now full. And the 3-2 pitch. High fly ball into center field. Still going back on the track there, near the track I should say. Caught for an out, and runners will advance from second and third. So a sac fly there by Ammerman will increase the Pacer lead, 18-1.
The second baseman, Joey Smithers.
That brings up Joey Smithers, the new second baseman, who is 0 for 1 today. Came in the 7th inning. He's got runners on the corners with 2 outs. And the first pitch, that's line foul. A well-hit ball there. But he swung just a little too early on that. And the count 0-1. And the 0-1 pitch, curveball's going to miss for ball 1. The 1-1 pitch, that's going to find the strike zone to make the count 1-2. Swing and a miss For strike 3 and the final out of the inning, but not before the Pacers managed to score 4 more runs to make their lead 18-1. As we go into the top of the 9th inning, Pacers looking to finish off this game and get the win. And welcome to the top of the 9th inning. Pacers looking to finish this game here and now, and they look to Coley to close it out. He faces off against Zach Cooper, 0 for 3 today. Make that 1 for 4 today as he hits that one into right left field. Right left field. That's been the kind of game it's been. It's right center field, folks. I'm sorry, I have to laugh at that. It's just been one of those days. But that's going to be a leadoff double. Where's that, Cooper?
Now batting number 34, Jack Downham.
And that'll bring up pinch hitter Jack Downham. He has a runner on second base with nobody out. And here's the first pitch to Downham. That's in there for a call strike. The 0-1 pitch. Curveball had him fooled there as it goes into the strike zone for strike 2. Swing and a miss on the 0-2 for the strikeout and the first out of the inning.
Second baseman number 10, Paul Parker.
That'll bring up another pinch hitter, Paul Parker. Comes in place of the DH, Josh Martin, as he takes the first pitch strike. And Lee deals the 0-1 pitch. And a miss for ball 1. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, runner on second. 18-1 the score here in the top of the 9th inning. That's going to be grounded to third. The throw to first is in time for the second out. But Cooper advances to third on that ground ball. That'll bring up Emery Chop. 0 for 2 today, hit by a pitch and 2 strikeouts. He has a runner on third base with 2 men down in an 18-1 ball game. Sorry about that. So the count now 1-0 after the first pitch. And the count now 2-0. The 2-0 pitch. Going to find the strike zone, and the count now 2-1. That ball's going to be in the dirt, and the count now 3-1. And the 3-1 pitch, going to be fouled off, and the count is now full. And that's going to miss the strike zone for ball 4. As the Hawks will stay alive with runners on the corners now and 2 down. And that'll bring up Aaron Aker. Aker's batting for Harrell. And he comes up with 2 men down and 2 men on. Swing and a miss on the first pitch for strike 1. And the 0-1 pitch. Gonna miss for a ball. 1-1 the count. The 1-1 pitch. That'll also miss for a ball. 2-1 the count. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And the Hawks are down to their final strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on. 18-1 the score. Top of the 9th is the inning. That one's going to be grounded slowly to short. And the throw to first is in time for the final out of the inning and the final out of the game. Pacers win this one 18-1. They win on 18 runs, 15 hits, 1 error, 2 Chowan's 1 run, 7 hits, and 4 errors. They'll play Chowan again March 9th at 6 p.m. And then they'll go on a road trip, and the next home game after their weekend road trip will be against Emmanuel on March 15th at 6 p.m. We thank you for listening. I'm Marcus Johnson, and have a good one.